Hello everyone and welcome back. As I'm recording this video on November 7th, I'm sorry for not releasing a video yesterday. I was glued to election coverage all day yesterday, and today around 10 a.m. What had been um, apparent for about a day became official as CNN, NBC, the Associated Press, Fox News, and every other major news organization in America and around the world projected Joe Biden had won the state of Pennsylvania and the state of Nevada and is the president-elect of the United States of America. Fox News is and the Associated Press have projected that Joe Biden has won the state of Arizona. They projected that on election night. Other news networks are holding off, but I believe in the end, this much criticized by some call of Arizona will be vindicated. Yes, Trump has narrowed the gap, but I think that what Fox News Decision Desk talked about on election night is while the president may narrow the gap, he won't be able to narrow it enough to catch up to Joe Biden. And you're beginning to see that with some of these late returns in Arizona. But yes, Trump is narrowing the gap, but he's not narrowing it enough to eventually overtake Biden's lead in Arizona. But back to the victory. Joe, today and tomorrow for Biden supporters is a day of celebration. It is a day you've been waiting for. It's a day you've worked for a long time to finally get here. The real work begins on Monday, and Joe Biden has to put together a country that has deep wounds and deep divisions. He is going to have to contend with the fact that he very likely is going to have a Republican-controlled Senate. And the most he can hope for, at minimum, would be a one-seat majority after the two runoffs in the state of Georgia. So he has to contend with that. He has a much reduced Democratic majority in the House. So he's going to have to seek bipartisan solutions. And he's going to also have to contend with the fact that when he takes office, America is going to see record numbers of coronavirus deaths and record numbers of infections. That curve is shooting way up, and it is not slowing down. We are on a bad trajectory. And he's going to have to help America come through that. Help us go through that long valley and come out the other side. And it's going to be tough. He also has to figure out what his biggest legislative priorities are. He's going to have to determine what are the big goals in that. And I'm a proponent of really looking at presidential terms in 2-year cycles. You put your big stuff, especially if you have a congressional majority in one house, in one chamber at least, in that first 2 years. The things you may lose a majority over in that first 2 years, because they are the most important things to you, get that accomplished. Those secondary priorities you put in the last 2 years as you get closer to election. Maybe things that are reach across the aisle type of solutions. So as you head into every election campaign, you can, possibly win re-election. I've always contended and thought that if Donald Trump, in the last 2 years of his administration, after the Mueller investigation ended, he came out, talked about, the investigation's over, and then started pushing an infrastructure package, he may have actually won re-election. Or if he had handled coronavirus in a better way. but he didn't. I don't expect Donald Trump to concede. I don't expect him to attend Joe Biden's inauguration, and I don't expect him to be gracious in defeat. Joe Biden has to look past that. The federal government will move for the peaceful transition of power. There are mechanisms in place to allow Joe Biden to peacefully assume the office of presidency on January 20th, 2021 at noon. And that's going to occur. So, celebrate tonight and tomorrow if you're a Biden supporter. I encourage everyone to watch Joe Biden's address to the nation tonight at 8 Eastern Time from Wilmington, Delaware. And listen to his words, because Joe Biden ran on a message of restoring the soul of the nation and unifying the country and being a president for all Americans. And I think you're going to hear that tonight. It's going to be a much different contrast to what we've heard in the past few days from the current president. Joe Biden, in retrospect, in the past few days, has spoken in very likewise terms that I think you'll strike tonight. Joe Biden has projected confidence that he will win, but, it's unclear, the results. He said, I believe I'm on a path to victory. And he says, we'll wait till the final outcome to declare victory. The opposite is true of the current president. And he's going to have to contend with that. Because Joe Biden did receive 74.5 million votes, the most of any presidential candidate in history. But he's also going to contend with the fact that Donald Trump has received 70.3 million votes, the second most of any presidential candidate in history. So he's going to have to contend with that. Now, it is true that Joe Biden is going to have, since 1996, since one of the largest victories in terms of percentage in recent history. It's just a fact. Joe Biden, I believe the only one with a larger was Barack Obama in 2008. So, just if you're a Biden supporter, enjoy the night and enjoy tomorrow. But the real work begins, as I said, on Monday. I believe it's been reported that President-elect Biden will appoint his coronavirus task force, and that is definitely the most important issue that he will be confronting as he takes office and in his first months in office. Absolutely. So that should be his focus. I will see you all tomorrow, and tomorrow we will begin to break down the nuts and bolts of the election and why what happened. So I will see you all then.